Hi, my name's Anthony, and this is the Psy Master Thopterist Gangnam Style deck tech. The greatest thing about Psy is he's just a guy. A 1/4 beats bolts. You can crack 2 artifacts and pay 1 in a blue, draw a card, always good. Artifact recursion's really relevant in EDH. Commander, what you children call it these days. And whenever you cast an artifact spell, this is where it gets gold. You put these things into play. These beautiful little 1/1 flyers. Everything you want in Magic the Gathering. So, you start with Psy. He is 2 in a blue. He's a 1/4 human artificer legendary creature. Not only is the artwork magnificent, it's a little dude sitting in a grove just like me. Have you seen the unicorns? Building some Thopters. Now, interaction. There's some great cards. You get 2 for 1s, 3 for 1s technically, because Psy makes it the extra. Ichor Wellspring. When it enters the battlefield or is put into a graveyard, you draw a card. With Psy, you get to draw a card and put a 1/1 Thopter into play, and then you can sack that Thopter and Ichor Wellspring to draw an extra card for 2 blue. Fun stuff. And drawing in Magic the Gathering is obviously the #1 most important thing to be doing. So, situations like that. Skull Clamp. Skull Clamp is a fantastic card because you're creating 1/1 Thopters, and instead of sacrificing 2 of those Thopters to draw a card with Psy, why not just pay 1 mana and draw 2 cards for sacrificing 1 Thopter? It's fabulous. Interactions with that as well. Cards like Serum Tank. Serum Tank is a 3-drop artifact. When it or another artifact comes into play, you put a charge counter on it, and you can tap it with 3 to remove a charge counter and draw a card. Every time you cast an artifact, including Serum Tank with Psy out, it's getting 2 charge counters. It's a fantastic way to just keep being able to draw cards. And again, drawing cards is what you want to be doing because that's just more artifacts to play. And how do we play so many artifacts after drawing them all? You make them super cheap with their cards like Ethereum Sculptor, Jawara's Familiar, Foundry Inspector. These make your artifact spells cost 1 less, effectively making pretty much over 2/3 of the entire library come into play for free should 1 or 2 of them be out. I don't run anything over 3 cost, except for really important cards like Dark Steel Forge, which makes all of your artifacts indestructible, and one of the alternate win conditions, Mind Slaver with Academy Ruins, just keeping everybody locked up each turn and playing the game for them. That's what I like to do because I play blue. I take people's turns for them. You play a card called Mind Slaver. It's a legendary artifact for 6 mana, and then you can pay 4, tap, and sacrifice it, and control that target player's next turn. Now, you say, how does this win the game for me? Well, on their turn, you can use their spells to kill their creatures, or make them swing into something that they don't want to be swinging into. Do some fun stuff with their things. They've got a Giant Growth your Thopter. Then, on the turn after, you play a card called Academy Ruins. It's a legendary land. It taps to add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool, but that's not the important part. The important part is the 1 in a blue, tap, put target artifact from my graveyard on top of my library. So, Psy's ability, sacrifice 2 artifacts, draw a card, or even if you want to do this at the end of the turn, on the turn that you took of theirs, you throw the Mind Slaver back on top of your library and you keep taking their turn. And the greatest part is, with Psy out, every time you cast that Mind Slaver, you're getting a Thopter. What do you do when you take their turn several times in a row and you just keep netting Thopters? It's a slow grind, but a slow grind is definitely worth 40 1/1 Thopters flying into the last opponent's face when they couldn't do anything because you played the game for them. Don't be like me, children. Alright. Consistency. You want to be playing cards like Thopter Spy Network, Mechanized Production, just putting more Thopters into play. These both reward you for having Thopters in play, or artifacts in general. Thopter Spy Network is at the beginning of your upkeep. If you control an artifact, you put a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token into play, and whenever 1 or more artifact creature you control deals combat damage to a player, and you really only need to swing with 1 Thopter, draw a card. Fabulous stuff, kids. Draw power and putting more Thopters into play, what more could you ask for? Mechanized Production is even better, because once you've already got like 30-something Thopters floating around, in the ideal situation, you enchant 1 of them, and at your upkeep for having those 30 Thopters in play, or at least 8, you win the game. Fantastic. I win the game because I play Thopters. It's beautiful. Getting out of terrifying situations like Bane of Progress. You run counter spells, Cryptic Command. Many other, an Essence Scatter is a wonderful card, and you don't really want to play those except on things that will remove your board state. You're going to be building enough of a board state that nothing should be a big enough threat that you need to counter it unnecessarily. And it's always nice to have a card sitting in your hand for dire situations, like someone who's about to blow up all artifacts in play. It's not nice, don't do it. Don't be that kind of person. Don't play bears. Against the other two commanders that I think are just, they're not that great. They're not as cool as Sai. I mean, just look at this guy. He's beautiful. He's everything I've ever wanted in a commander. Against walls, Thopters fly. And everybody knows the best way to get over a wall is to fly over it, right? Yeah, sure, Arcanus, or Arcades, has flying, but he'll just block one Thopter and then the rest of them get through. And hey, if I find a way to give my Thopter Death Touch, highly unlikely because I only play blue, he'll die. And if he ever wants to attack at me, I block with 5 Thopters, 3 of them die because he's a 3/5. Just too good. And against the bear, hey, mono green Stompy, I have one word for you. Well, 3, 1 card. All is dust. I make you sacrifice all colored permanents. And then I sit there with all my non-colored Thopters, and you cry. Nonetheless, other fantastic win conditions, fun ones, especially if somebody does get greedy and blow up your board state. You just throw a Pilla-Palla into play, a Grand Architect, and you generate infinite blue mana and Blue Sun Zenith that person for X, making them draw X cards with infinite mana. Just be like 101. In Commander, what do you do to that? Even with your Commander shuffled in the deck and all of your cards in that deck, you just can't win. And it avoids graveyard hate from Eldrazi because you're drawing those cards. So if you liked Sai, Master Thopterist, you can also like and subscribe to our channel, Manaclash. And at the same time, why don't you click that bell icon so you get the notification for when the Manaclash comes out and Sai gets to run over the bears and the walls in a beautiful, beautiful match. It's gonna be wonderful. You ever thrown paper airplanes at people in class? It's kind of what Sai's like. I would just like to thank our sponsors. This Thopter token, he left me $10 this morning. I found it in my pant pocket while I was doing laundry. It was great, wonderful, wonderful donation. If you want to donate and become one of our sponsors, feel free and click somewhere, we'll figure it out. It'll be an email on the screen. You can send us anything.